So let us create a scenario where you're getting to the end of your bachelor's degree or even your master's degree, and you know that you're passionate about research. You have a rough idea of the field that you'd like to specialize in. You're thinking of Cambridge University as one of the universities that you'd like to apply to, but you really do not know where to begin. Then this video is for you. Today I'll be giving you a step-to-step guide on how to navigate through the Cambridge postgraduate application process. So if this is something that you find interesting, keep watching to the very end. Hi guys, welcome to today's video. Today I'll be giving you a step-to-step guide on how to apply to postgraduate studies at the University of Cambridge. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Aisha and I'm a PhD student at the University of Cambridge. On this channel, I document my journey through grad school with the hope to inspire anyone who is considering postgraduate studies at the University of Cambridge or anywhere else in the world. On this channel, I also started a postgraduate application series where I cover topics related to putting together a postgraduate application to Cambridge University. I can remember when I was applying a couple of years ago, it was very difficult for me to navigate through the whole bunch of information that you can find online. So I started this postgraduate application series with the hopes to make the whole process easier for anyone like myself a couple of years ago. So as you can probably imagine, applying to Cambridge or applying to any postgraduate degree for that matter is quite a long journey and there are lots of things to cover. What I'm aiming for with these videos that I produce for the postgraduate application series is to make this video super short, straight to the point. I'm trying my best not to bombard you guys with a lot of information, not to overwhelm you. With that in mind, today I will try my best to cover some of the parts that I think are important, but it is possible that I'm not able to cover all of the parts. So in that case, if I know that I'm running over time, I would stop and then maybe cover the other aspect that I was not able to cover in future videos. So before I proceed, there are 3 housekeeping points that I'd like to give. The first housekeeping point is to just mention that I acknowledge that the term postgraduate application studies is super broad and the experiences that one may have would differ greatly depending on the degree, the university, or even the country. So all of the points that I'm going to mention in this video are more relevant to Cambridge postgraduate application in STEM related subjects. So first thing I want you to understand is that funding and applying for a course go hand in hand. So let's say, for example, you get accepted into a postgraduate program in Cambridge and you do not have a funding source confirmed, then sadly all of your efforts that you put into your application will go to waste, especially if you are not able to finance yourself. So with that in mind, I'd like you to picture the entire application process in pair. So what I mean is that you need to put in as much time and effort in researching about funding opportunities as you would put in researching, for example, about the course that you're interested in. In my best effort to keep this video concise, today I'll be talking you through how to apply for the course itself, and hopefully in future videos I will cover funding opportunities very briefly. So my third housekeeping point is about the types of postgraduate programs that we have out there. Postgraduate programs have different structures. So we have the 100% taught programs, as the name implies. So this type of programs are 100% taught in the sense that it's very traditional. You go for classes, you have lectures, you have exams at the end of the term. So we do have programs that are 50% taught and 50% research. So in those kind of programs, as the name suggests, you have maybe the first few months of your degree, you spend it in classes and then you spend it in attending lectures and just familiarizing yourself with some of the concepts in the field. And then the last few months of your degree, you switch to taking a research project in a lab or somewhere where you try to address some specific research questions through your project. The third type of program is 100% taught programs, in the sense that, as the name suggests, this kind of programs are research intensive. So all you do is you work at the lab and you try to tackle a specific research question or specific research questions through your project. Another one that I want to mention briefly before I proceed is sandwich programs that have both master's and PhD interlinked. You're given the option to explore maybe 3 or 4 projects, and then the idea is that from those 3 or 4 projects you choose one project that you find most intriguing and then you continue to your PhD with that project. So this kind of sandwich programs have masters and PhD linked together, and again, one would think that this is actually a really good option, but another caveat to this kind of programs is that they're super competitive. These are the 4 main types of postgraduate programs if you are thinking of STEM related subjects. So now I'm going to switch over to my laptop. Hopefully as I talk you through the process of applying, you're able to see my screen. So the first thing you want to do is that you want to go to the Cambridge University Postgraduate Online Directory, and then Once you get there, you click on the first link that comes up. Because I've been on it so many times, that was the first thing that came up. This directory has over 3,000 postgraduate courses, and it's basically a good starting point because, for example, it could be a situation where you want to pursue a specific degree but Cambridge University doesn't offer it. In that case, once you start from here and you don't see the course, you know that you need to move on to another university. So you can see that on this website, it gives you the option to pick the course that you want to filter out the course that you're interested in. It also gives you like the course level, whether you are thinking of applying for a doctorate studies or master's or diploma. It also gives you the option to pick whether you want a taught or research course. As I have explained earlier, some courses allow for you to be a part-time student, whereas some courses don't. Generally, this is a good starting point because it filters out everything for you such that you are able to know what option is out there for you to pursue. So let's say you're interested in cancer research. So cancer research in itself is very broad, so you can use different keywords. You can use cancer research. You see that there are so many words that are associated with cancer research. So we have oncology, hematology, we have biological science, clinical medicine, and so on. So you can try keywords, different keywords that is associated with whatever you want to pursue. Oncology, for example. You can try also cancer biology. So yeah, you can play with the keywords, and as you play with the keywords and you see the options that pop out, you go through each option and see what fits what you're interested in. So let's say that I already know that I want to do cancer research, and from looking at the degrees, and I've gone through this website and I've seen that, okay, I'm interested in the medical science degree that is offered by Cancer Research UK, CI, so the Cambridge Institute. So I'm interested in the medical science degree because, it's offered by Cancer Research UK, and Cancer Research UK is a very big, organization, and they're very, very specific to cancer research. What I would do now is that I will click on Medical Science CI, and then the directory brings me to a website that has all of the details that I need in one place. And I'll walk you guys through this slowly, and then maybe we can move on so that I don't make this video super long. This is the website. Any degree that you click on will bring you to a similar page like this that has everything summarized. We have an overview page which explains the degree in a nutshell, like summary of everything and the department and all of that. So we have the study place, which gives you information about the structure of the degree. There are some PhDs, for example, that they require you to attend a certain level of lectures per week, or they expect you, for example, to have a certain number of journal clubs per term. In my own department, this is not so fixed, and this study page gives you a nice summary of what the degree is about. So how are you going to be assessed? How do you expect to get ongoing feedbacks on your work or your progress? We do have a part of the website that is for requirements. I understand that there are some of my friends here that are international students like myself, so you need to be able to also look at this extensively in advance, because in this part they give you all of the requirements that you need as an international student or as a home student. You need, for example, a UK second class honours degree, or you need a language requirements, visa information. So all of this is summarized on this page. Then we also have finances, which is basically the elephant in the room. They give you a nice summary of how much you're expected to pay as a home student, as an overseas student, or as a refugee. They give you links that you can click on, and then you can explore all of the funding opportunities that are out there. And last, there's a page for how to apply. So I will come back to this briefly soon. Let's go back to this overview page. At the side of this page, I'd like to talk about this briefly. This panel provides you with the key information about the degree. This interface that you're looking at here is information provided by the postgraduate admissions team, and the postgraduate admission team will provide information on all of the courses offered by Cambridge. If you want specific information about the course itself, you need to go to the course on department website, which they have nicely provided a link at the side. Again, this is applicable for all courses, even though this is just for CI. This is the format that all of the other courses have. Another thing I'd like to talk about briefly is the date and deadlines. These are really, really important. So before I move on to the deadlines and stuff, I'd like to talk about the terms in Cambridge. This was something that I found a bit confusing when I was applying. There are 3 terms in Cambridge broadly. 3 terms are the Michaelmas term, the Lent term, and the Easter term. The Michaelmas term starts around October and ends sometime in December. The Lent term starts in around January and ends around March, mid-ending. Then the Easter term starts around April and then it ends around June. So it's just good for you to have it in mind, because depending on the term that you start your PhD, your deadline will be different. This is one of the things why I can gush on and on about this webpage, is that they give you all of the dates and the deadlines for each of the terms. Today is September 18. Let's say that I'm thinking of applying, and I look at all of the deadlines that I have here, and I see that the deadlines for Lent 2022 is October 2021. So I know that, for example, maybe applying to Lent 2022 would not be favorable for me because I just have a month to prepare my application and I need more time to be able to put together everything. So I look at the Easter 2022 and I see that the deadline is January 14, 2022. So I know that, okay, this will give me a few more months to be able to look for supervisors, put together all of my documents and stuff, so I can consider applying for the Easter 2022 course. Or for example, let's say that I have something coming up next year and I do not want to start at Easter, but I want to start in Michaelmas, which is around October 2022. So I can know that, okay, for example, since I'm thinking of starting October 2022, I have to finish all of my application stuff before May 16th, 2022. I know that this part might be confusing to someone who is visiting the website for the first time. You have flexibility in the sense that you can apply at different times of the year. Depending on the time of the year that you want to apply to, they will provide you with the deadlines that you need to work towards. Funding and applying to a course go hand in hand. I would even advise that you look at the funding deadline first before you even look at the application deadline. If I'm thinking of next year, October, I need to look at the funding deadline because even though the application tells me that I can apply next year, May, if I want to go into next year, October, and then I see the funding deadline, they're telling me that the deadline for applying for any funding at all is October this year for one, and then it's next year, January 2022 for the other. Even though I could apply next year, by next year, May, for my degree that I want to start in October, I need to apply before January 6th because I want to be considered for the graduate funding competition, which I will come back to later on in my future videos. I guess what I'm trying to say with this is that when you're thinking of deadlines, which are important, because I think the deadlines should be what would dictate how you want to structure your whole application process, you need to look at funding deadlines first. Do not be deceived by the fact that you have a long time to be able to plan, but in reality, the funding deadline is way closer than you thought. Look at your funding deadline and your application deadline, and this webpage nicely gives you all of that in one go. So I have just realized that this video is taking a bit long, so what I'll do is that I'll split this video into two. So the second part, which will come up shortly, would cover specifically how the application portal looks like in Cambridge University. The Cambridge University postgraduate application is centralized in one system, so you have to apply through an applicant portal. In my second video, I would show you guys how the portal looks like and just show you the kind of information that I ask you to provide. If you have any specific questions about anything that I have discussed, so just applying to Cambridge University generally, leave it in the comment section and I'll be sure to make a video about the questions depending on the details that are required. If not, I can respond to you right away. You can also send me a DM on Instagram or send me an email. If you found this video helpful, please help me by liking or sharing with someone who you think is considering postgraduate application to Cambridge University. If you're new here and you still haven't subscribed, don't forget to subscribe to join this small community that we're growing. We really love to have you join us. And if you're a returning subscriber, thanks always for supporting. I hope you remain safe and you're in the best of health. See you on my next one. Bye.